One of the quiet struggles I hear most often from my patients over 60 is this, "Doctor, I just can't sleep through the night anymore." Maybe you felt it too, tossing, turning, watching the clock tick toward midnight only to wake up groggy the next morning. At this age, sleep feels less like a given and more like a gift. That's why I want to tell you about something surprisingly simple, yet powerful: castor oil. Not a pill, not a sleeping aid that leaves you foggy in the morning, but a natural oil your grandmother might have kept in her kitchen. When gently massaged into the scalp, the temples, or even the soles of your feet, castor oil carries a calming, almost grounding effect on the nervous system. It's as if it whispers to your body, "It's safe to let go now." I remember Margaret, 68 years old. She came to me frustrated, saying she dreaded bedtime because it felt like another battle. I suggested a small nightly ritual: warm a bit of castor oil between her palms, rub it into her temples and feet before bed. 2 weeks later, she said, "Doctor, I'm not only falling asleep faster, but I wake up feeling rested for the first time in years." Science even supports this. Studies show castor oil has mild sedative effects, helping to reduce insomnia. But more than data, it's the lived experience that convinces me. Sometimes the smallest gestures, like a quiet massage with warm oil, can give back something priceless: deep healing sleep. One of the hardest parts of growing older, as many of my patients tell me, is waking up with stiff knees or aching hands before the day even begins. You sit on the edge of the bed, take that first step, and it feels like your joints are reminding you of every year you've lived. Have you ever felt that? Here's where castor oil shows another hidden gift. Inside this simple oil is a compound called ricinoleic acid, a natural anti-inflammatory that works quietly like a gentle hand-soothing fire from within. When warmed slightly and massaged into sore knees, stiff shoulders, or aching fingers, it seeps in slowly, calming the irritation and easing the pain. I remember John, 72, who used to tell me he dreaded his morning walks because of knee pain. I suggested he try rubbing warm castor oil onto his knees, covering them with a soft cloth for an hour. 2 weeks later, he came back and said, "Doctor, I still walk the same distance, but now I actually look forward to it. The pain doesn't control me anymore." Science has confirmed this too. Studies show castor oil packs reduce pain in people with arthritis. But what stays with me are not the papers. It's the faces of patients who rediscover small joys like climbing stairs or carrying groceries without wincing. So I want you to picture this: a bottle of oil, a few quiet minutes, and the relief of joints that move more freely. Sometimes healing doesn't roar, it whispers in the language of comfort. One of the quiet struggles many people don't talk about after 60 is digestion. Constipation becomes a frequent, unwelcome guest. I've had patients whisper it to me almost in embarrassment, as if it's something to hide. But let me tell you, there's nothing shameful about it. It's simply the body reminding us it needs a little help. This is where castor oil has been used for generations. Taken in very small amounts, just half a teaspoon on an empty stomach with a full glass of water, it can gently nudge the intestines awake, helping the body let go of what it's been holding too long. Unlike harsh laxatives that shock the system, castor oil works more like a quiet tap on the shoulder, saying, "It's time to move again." I remember Mary, 70, who told me she felt heavy, bloated, and avoided social outings because she was uncomfortable most of the time. With careful guidance, she began using a tiny dose of castor oil once in a while. A few weeks later, she returned with a lighter smile. "Doctor, I feel like my body is finally breathing again." But here's my advice: castor oil for digestion must be treated with respect. Too much can cause cramping or even dependency. It should never be taken daily, but only occasionally, and ideally with your doctor's guidance. So I want you to imagine this: instead of carrying around that constant heaviness, your body feels light, your steps are easier, and your spirit brighter just from giving your digestion the gentle support it quietly needs. As we age, our skin begins to whisper its stories. Fine lines trace the laughter we've shared, and dryness reminds us of the years we've weathered. Many of my patients over 60 tell me, "Doctor, no cream seems to work anymore. My skin just drinks it in and stays thirsty." And that's where I often introduce them to something beautifully simple: castor oil. Unlike expensive lotions filled with chemicals and perfumes, castor oil is pure, dense with fatty acids that sink deep into the skin. When massaged gently into the face, neck, or even the hands, it doesn't just sit on the surface, it nourishes from within. I remember Eleanor, 68, who confessed that she avoided mirrors because her skin felt dull and fragile. I suggested she dab a few drops of castor oil before bed, letting it work quietly through the night. A month later, she smiled and said, "Doctor, my skin feels alive again, softer, smoother, almost like I've turned back a little time." Science confirms what tradition has always known. The antioxidants in castor oil fight free radicals, slowing the silent march of aging. With consistent use, the skin retains moisture, lines soften, and that sense of vitality returns not just on the outside, but in how you feel when you look at yourself. So I want you to picture this each night. Instead of applying layers of complicated products, you warm a few drops of castor oil in your palms and gently press them into your skin. Simple, natural, a quiet ritual that tells your body you are still worthy of care. One of the quiet struggles many of my patients over 60 share with me is poor circulation. Cold feet at night, swelling around the ankles, or that heavy dragging feeling in the legs after just a short walk. Have you ever felt that way yourself? It's not just discomfort, it's your body whispering that blood isn't flowing as freely as it once did. This is where castor oil offers something truly remarkable. When gently massaged into the skin, especially the legs and feet, it warms, the surface dilates tiny blood vessels and invites circulation back to life. Think of it as opening the windows in a stuffy house, letting fresh air move through again. I remember Mr. Howard, 73, who told me he always felt his legs swell by evening, making it hard to sleep. I suggested he warm a little castor oil in his hands each night and massage it into his calves and feet, covering them afterward with a soft cloth. After a few weeks, he came back and said, "Doctor, I don't feel that heavy pressure anymore. My legs feel lighter, and even my walks around the block are easier." Science supports these experiences. Studies show that castor oil packs can stimulate circulation, reduce swelling, and deliver more oxygen to tired tissues. That oxygen isn't just for the legs, it fuels your heart, your brain, your energy for living each day. So the next time you feel your legs heavy or your feet cold, imagine giving them this simple gift, a gentle castor oil massage that tells your body, "I still want you to move freely." Because sometimes restoring circulation is the first step to restoring confidence. The older we get, the more we realize that strength isn't just about muscles or bones. It's about the quiet defenses working inside us every single day. I often remind my patients your immune system is like a hidden army. It fights for you without asking for thanks. But after 60, that army sometimes grows tired, and toxins can linger longer than they should. This is where castor oil steps in, not just as a remedy for aches or sleep, but as a gentle ally for your lymphatic system, the body's drainage network. When you massage warm castor oil onto the skin, especially around the abdomen or chest, it stimulates the lymphatic flow. Think of it as opening the pathways so your body can clear out the waste more effectively, giving your immune soldiers the clarity they need to stand guard. I remember Mrs. Laura, 68, who often felt puffy, sluggish, and caught colds easily. She started using castor oil packs a few evenings a week, placing them over her abdomen while resting. After a month, she told me, "Doctor, I feel lighter, and I haven't had one of those lingering colds this season." Research supports this too. By improving lymphatic drainage, castor oil indirectly boosts immune resilience. Less congestion in the system means more energy for healing, more strength for daily life. So let me ask you, have you ever felt your body dragging as if weighed down from the inside? Maybe it's not just fatigue, it could be your immune system asking for support. And sometimes that support can begin with something as simple as a warm castor oil pack, quietly helping your body defend you better. Swelling in the legs or ankles is something many of my patients over 60 quietly accept as just aging. But I always remind them your body is sending a message. That puffiness is often a sign that circulation and lymph flow are slowing down. And when that drainage system stalls, toxins linger, energy drops, and you feel heavy even when you haven't done much. This is where an old, almost forgotten remedy shines: the castor oil pack. It's simple, warm castor oil applied onto a soft cloth, then placed gently over the abdomen or swollen area, covered to keep in the warmth. You rest, let the oil penetrate, and something remarkable happens. The gentle heat and ricinoleic acid in the oil stimulate lymphatic circulation. It's like opening a blocked stream, letting the water flow freely again. I think of Mr. Harris, 71, who often struggled with swollen ankles by the evening. He told me, "Doctor, I just thought it was my age catching up with me." After trying castor oil packs a few times a week, he came back amazed. "My shoes fit better, my legs feel lighter, and I even sleep more comfortably." Science echoes this experience. Studies show castor oil packs improve lymphatic drainage, reduce swelling, and bring a deep sense of relaxation. So let me ask you, have you ever looked down at your legs at the end of the day and wished they felt lighter, less burden? Maybe the answer isn't a new pill, but a simple cloth, a little warmth, and the natural flow restored by castor oil. You know, one of the little things many people don't talk about after 60 is how our hair changes. It thins, it falls more easily, and sometimes it feels like our scalp itself is tired. I've had so many patients whisper to me, "Doctor, I hate seeing more and more hair on my pillow in the morning." That's why I often recommend something gentle, something nature has given us for generations: castor oil. When massaged into the scalp, this thick golden oil doesn't just sit on the surface, it seeps in, nourishing the follicles with fatty acids and vitamin E. It improves blood flow to the roots, making each strand stronger and encouraging new growth. I remember Mrs. Linda, 68, who came to me worried that her parting line was widening. I suggested she warm a little castor oil between her hands and massage it into her scalp a few evenings each week. 2 months later, she returned with a smile. "Doctor, my hair feels thicker, fuller, and even my scalp doesn't itch like before." And there's more. That simple massage doesn't only feed your hair, it relaxes your mind. The pressure points on your scalp, combined with the oil's soothing warmth, create a ritual that calms the nervous system while renewing the hair. So let me ask you, have you ever run your fingers through your hair and wished it felt stronger, more alive? Perhaps the answer is not in another expensive bottle, but in a few drops of castor oil, a few quiet minutes of care, and the patience to let your scalp breathe again. You know, I always tell my patients this: every remedy, even the most natural ones, carries two faces. Castor oil is no different. It can heal, but if used carelessly, it can also trouble you. I've seen people apply it to their skin and feel only comfort, but I've also had a patient, Mr. Thomas, 70 years old, who developed a red itchy patch on his arm. It wasn't dangerous, but it reminded me to always say, test first. A drop on the inside of your forearm, wait a day, and let your skin tell you if it's welcome. And when it comes to drinking castor oil, please treat it with respect. Taken in the wrong amount, it can bring cramping, diarrhea, or simply leave you running to the bathroom more than you'd like. A teaspoon used occasionally is usually enough. But more than that, and the very thing meant to help you can exhaust you instead. Another point most people forget: medications. If you're already taking pills for blood pressure, diabetes, or the heart, castor oil might not always play well with them. I've had patients who learned this the hard way: thinking natural means harmless. So here's the truth. Nature gives us gifts, but wisdom is in how we use them. Castor oil can be a gentle friend, but only if you listen to your skin, your stomach, your body. And when in doubt, ask your doctor. Because health at our age is not about chasing miracles. It's about making careful, thoughtful choices every single day. Over the years, I've learned something simple but powerful. Real healing isn't always measured in lab tests or medical charts. It's felt in the quiet changes of everyday life. And castor oil, humble as it seems, has given me countless stories worth sharing. I remember Mrs. Linda, 68 years old. She used to wake up 3 or 4 times a night, her hands stiff and her knees throbbing. She started massaging a little warm castor oil into her joints before bed. Just a week later, she walked into my clinic with a smile. "Doctor, I finally slept through the night. And when I woke up, my fingers didn't feel like wood anymore." Then there was Joseph, 73. His complaint wasn't pain, it was his skin. "I feel like I'm aging faster than I should," he said. I suggested he try a few drops of castor oil on his face each evening. Within days, he noticed his skin softer, smoother, almost as if he had pressed rewind on time. And I'll never forget Maria, 70, who had given up her morning walks because her ankles ached too much. After a few nights of castor oil packs around her joints, she returned laughing. "Doctor, I walked 2 blocks today without stopping. I feel alive again." These aren't miracles, they're reminders. Sometimes the smallest habits done faithfully can stir the biggest transformations. Castor oil isn't a cure-all, but for many, it becomes a quiet companion, restoring strength, easing pain, softening age itself one day at a time. So my friend, we've walked through the quiet power of castor oil together, from deeper sleep to calmer joints to skin that feels alive again. And maybe by now you see what I've seen for decades. Healing isn't always about big, complicated changes. Sometimes it begins with something as simple as a spoonful of oil or a gentle massage before bed. The truth is, after 60, every choice carries more weight. We can't afford to waste days feeling tired, stiff, or discouraged. But we can choose to give our bodies a little help, to create rituals that restore instead of drain. Castor oil is not magic, but it is a reminder that nature still has tools waiting for us if only we're willing to reach for them. I want you to imagine this: 7 days from now, you wake up and realize your hands move more freely, your sleep feels deeper, your mornings lighter. That small change begins a chain reaction: more energy to walk, more confidence in your steps, more joy in your days. So here's my invitation to you, try it. Just 7 days. Be consistent. Write down how you feel. Let your own body be the proof. And if you found this helpful, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone you love because we're all walking this road of aging together. And if you'd like more guidance, more stories, and more tools to stay strong after 60, subscribe and join me here. Because aging is not about fading away, it's about choosing every single day to live stronger, steadier, and more alive.